been eventful. I've got to say it's been really enjoyable. It's probably been, I think we spoke about this, me and Alex and John at the Q&A. It's probably been one of the hardest periods of my career, but on the same time one in most enjoyable, because I know what we were doing was for the right reasons, and we knew the job going into the window. And yeah, like you say, it's been very eventful. 18 transactions, 18 signings. So hopefully the fans and all the club and everyone associated with the club can see a lot of hard work's gone into rebuild the squad.
How exciting, first and foremost, has it been to be able to have a real step change in that recruitment approach?
For me, as part of a football club and part of as a technical director and being around it and being immersed in all of that, it's been a great experience to see and see it evolve. But I'm probably really proud of the work that we've done before, that we knew the profile of the squad, we knew the type of players. We kind of even went to the detail of planning how many free transfers, how many loan players we wanted to sign, how many transfers we wanted to get, at what kind of budget and what kind of range of budget could we go for. So we kind of went into that detail, and then things came up in the window. All of a sudden we sold and we dealt in the window, and a couple of players moved on for transfer fees, and then that gave us another opportunity to invest even more money into the squad. So that dynamic, and that's where you have to be fluid, and that's where you have to deal with the market as it goes. And what's wonderful about this football club is that every penny we got in, we reinvested back into the playing squad. So maybe our target might have been 13, 14, 15 players, but by selling 3 players, we've been able to go and make more additional signings. So hopefully the fans can really benefit from that and really buy into that concept that's part of the football industry.
Well, now we've hit the end of it, where do you think the squad is at in terms of how happy are you with the progression of the window in terms of the long-term project?
Yeah, I read something the other day that I think in a previous interview I talked about we probably won't do it all in one window. And even though we've done 18 transfers, with one of them having to return back to his parent club, so 17 new players coming in, I still probably believe in that not everything's done in this window. I'm pleased to say that we've got a loan left, so we can still work in that market in January should we need it. We can assess the team and the performance and form as well, as such as injuries and suspensions going into January, and we'll see where else the squad needs to maybe strengthening. And then again next summer, I think it will naturally evolve. I don't think it'll be 18 again, but I do feel we will have to continue and rebuild next summer. So that's where I probably said in my previous interview, it won't be just done in this one window.
In terms of the loan players that you mentioned there, that fits one of the pillars that you've earmarked before, the sort of within the squad. If you could just give us a bit of a breakdown as to how the squad is the framework of the squad is now built.
And that's probably like what I'm going back earlier when I said I'm really pleased to see that evolve, because we had that kind of them 5 pillars about what that looks like of our key assets, established championship players, our high potential and loan players, our cultural architects, and then our emergent talent. And they're the 5 key areas where we put our players in now, and no doubt the fans will be guessing who's in what bracket and who's in what pillar. And that's great, that's an opinion, that's what the game's all about. So I'd encourage the fans to go off and be creative on that. But we've done that internally, and that creates that kind of our squad dynamics of how many players sit in each pillar. And then what we can now start to do is, as one of them player either exits or we return back to their club if it's a loan player, etc., or they move into another pillar, then we can then look to reinvest in the squad. And that's why it's always evolving. And we want to see, and we've been really pleased with the young players we've brought in as well, of that might be a bit of a delayed impact in the squad, or the emergent talent coming through of the young academy players, but they're just as important as well.
Probably timely to talk about the loan strategy as a whole, I guess, because you've used it to benefit the first team squad now, but also those young players you mentioned, some of them have made their way out on loan as well.
We had a lot of loans last season, and we know that. It was a needs must in January. We needed to deal with the squad, and we needed to ensure that we could get to the end of the season, and we brought in some players, but it was always our view that some of them players will return, and that was part of the strategy. And thankfully, Ben Pearson has signed into a permanent signing, and Kiana Hoover's come back again. So that's not to say that we guarantee that any of the 4 that we've got now will, but it's always our intentions that we want players that are capable of maybe returning back to the squad. Likewise, though, we also want premium loans as well of players of Premier League quality that come in and really help the squad and top up the squad. So I think we've used that in the forward we've done so far, and we've got one available if we need to in January. Regarding loans going out, yeah, we've obviously gave Tom Edwards an opportunity to go out into the Championship, and some of our young players have gone out and gaining valuable experiences in the lower leagues. And I've got to say there, some of the impacts and some of the performances of them players is excellent, and they will return back into the club within the emergent talent with a view of then trying to get transfer into the squad.
And I guess with the loan players, that's a domestic market. Now let's talk about widening the net somewhat, because that's been something that's excited everybody associated with the club. I guess, when did that first to start with that? Where did that sort of start, that planned approach to widen the net strategically? Why did you decide to do that?
Well, part of the recruitment of Jared coming in as a head of recruitment, we wanted to bring someone with the expertise and knowledge and experience of bringing and using that European market, not just in Europe but also worldwide, and I think we've demonstrated that in the signings. But also, we've also got to be really transparent and say that we also had to rely on the changes at Brexit, and that with fact we can now sign players and have 4 wildcards. That gave us an opportunity that wasn't there 12 months ago. So the rule changes enabled that, but there's no point having the rule changes if you then can't implement and can't benefit from them changes. So thankfully with the recruitment team we got, the work that we've been doing behind the scenes, but also then with Jared coming in with his knowledge and expertise and his contacts, we then look to attack that field, and like you say, it's been really exciting, and I hope the club and the fans and everyone associated with the club have been really excited by the different type of players as well. We've not just hit one market, we're not just hit one age group of player, we're not just hit one position of the field. We try to have a range of players in different age groups, from different leagues and different countries and different environments to come in and hopefully have a real big impact at Stoke City.
The supporters have been coming back to the Bet365 Stadium in their numbers, been some really good atmospheres at the start of the season, and I guess it's been good to build that connection as well off the pitch. So you've placed a big focus on that as well, that real connection between the supporters.
Yeah, I think me and the manager sat down in the summer and we really talked about what does the plan look like on the field regarding recruitment of players, but also what do we need to do off the field, and that staff engagement, that player engagement. How do we engage with our supporters? How do we engage with our other colleagues? That's really important as well. And I've got to say the manager's been first class, and he's really brought into it. He's embraced it, and probably his energy and his desire and his passion to get this rebuild right has probably been the driving force for the whole summer. And sometimes that doesn't get noticed or that doesn't get there, but he's been behind every deal, he's been behind every signing, he's been behind everyone that hasn't quite got over the line, and we all share that frustrations, and we all share the highs when we get one over the line and get a new signing at the club. So I've got to say that from himself right the way down, all the way down into everyone working in all the departments, we've all joined that up, and yeah, that energy's been quite powerful.
You mentioned you'll be debriefing the window over the next couple of weeks. You've sort of already started that process. Of course, you've said as well we have opportunity in the winter. Where do you think we sit now in terms of recruitment, transfer window, moving into the new season?
Well, we're going into the game against Norwich, and at the moment, not every player's played for the club that we've signed. So the window's shut, and we've still got players waiting to make their debuts and waiting to put on the famous shirt and wear it with pride and passion and go out and represent the club. So yeah, we're still waiting for them players to settle in and make their debuts, and that won't be long because they are the signings we made around deadline day, and they couldn't quite make the last game before the international break. So with that in mind, and players still making their first starts and things like that have just taken place, and some have gone away on international break. So we probably just need a period now between now and the next international break to settle everyone down, to get a little bit of rhythm, to hopefully get some good form, to hopefully keep injuries away from the squad, and then the selection for the manager to make will be about different players in different positions. And I think what he's got now, he's got that variety, and in all the announcements we've made about what type of players we've signed and why we signed them, for the different dynamics of the championship. We spoke openly about the championship being such a wide range of of styles of football and play and what the other teams look like. So we need to have a variety in the way we attack that as well and the way we defend that. So yeah, I think that's what the squad has got at the moment. And like I say, hopefully we will get some form, we get some good performances, and we can build on that between now and the next international break. Beyond that, I'm not even looking beyond that. I just want to get this next cohort of games. It's a very, very busy games. We've got lots of league games coming up and a cup game before the next October international break, and then we'll review and assess from there. So yeah, that's how I see the next 5 or 6 weeks.
And I guess just finally, if you could just summarise the window from your perspective and your message to the Stoke City supporters as well now the transfer window has concluded.
Yeah, I hope that all the supporters are really excited and looking forward to seeing the players gel and perform both at home and away. And probably the message is out there is that every transaction we've made, every bit of business we've tried to do is to ensure that our supporters, who are the best supporters in the league, they support us both home and away in great numbers and with great support vocally. We want them to be really proud that they wake up on the match day and they're excited as the team is and as the staff are. So that's our message, that's what we want to get out there. Will they need some time to gel? Of course we will. Will we need some younger players to have a little bit more time to get used to playing in a new country, in a new league? Yeah, but ultimately we want our fans to come to the ground with the excitement of a new player to be their favourite player and get behind the team and really support them. And everything we've done is been on their behalf, and we hope they're really proud.